The lateral line is proudly partnered with Vertex Lubricants.
This video is a shark fishing video, and the main reason for making this video is to promote what we believe to be the best way to target bronze whaler sharks right here in New Zealand. Now, when I say the best way, I mean the best way for the fish. Milan and I used to target bronze whaler sharks all the time, and we've caught more bronze whaler sharks than I could possibly remember, but we haven't soaked a shark bait now for literally years and years. Our first shark fishing mission started just the same as any of our shark fishing missions in the past, by setting up and testing a couple of shark traces and then headed out on the harbour to spot X. And just the same as all those years ago, we didn't have to wait long to get our first bite.
That's a shark. That's definitely a shark, that one. Might even be a big one. Oh. First bite.
The bigger the shark, the higher the possibility of hooking it with our system. Little sharks grab the bait, shake their heads and just rip the bait straight off the hook. And you kind of just got to be okay with it. Rebait, re-rock, reset and retry. And you just got to keep repeating that process before you get a solid hookup. And it wasn't very long before we got just that.
Got him that time, Nato?
You reckon he's on?
Yep.
Yep, hook that one. It's just sitting there. Ooh. There we go. Alright, go off Minn Kota now.
Yep.
Are they going to come down? I'll just come down and get some line screaming. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Not often you see the big saltega squealing. Alright, I better go pull the Minn Kota up. Start the motor.
Milan and I have fished for bronzies together for some 10 years. And in that time we have caught tons of them. Also, over that same time period, we have only ever seen one great white shark, and we only seen its tail when it came up on the surface and tried to smash one of our live baits. Now, that also includes 10 years of pumping ridiculous burley trails.
I've never caught a whites, but it's not. I've caught lots of bronzies, and that ain't a bronzy tail. Here, I'll take the rod, you grab it. Your fish, man. It's definitely a white, bro. There's no bronzy.
Oh, it's a great word, it is too, bro.
Holy schmoly's, Marlin. You look a little bit more cagey than normal.
Yeah, look at the tail flute on.
That's what I mean. It didn't have the tail of a bronzy. Tell me when you got him under control.
What a fish.
Hang on, that's enough. Don't pull him too far out of the water. Holy shit balls,
You
Milan.
have to do some research and find out. What I've found out, if you ever do hook a white shark, I'm pretty sure if you land it, you got to report it. If you hook it, you're okay. Oh, it's just there.
Yeah, we're about to get it. It's no problem to get it. Just you're gonna have to hold it up, and I might have to get it.
We want a stick in there. I'll get a stick there.
Just give me the trace, or just hold it up so I can just have a look. Which way is that going? I can. Sorry, Cobber. I don't really want to have my hands down here.
Oh, it's right there. I've got him. Oh, okay. Okay, give me the hook. Can you get a photo while I'm with him real quick?
Holy shit, Milan! You caught a great white shark!
Look at the flute. Dream fish for me. Oh, always wanted to catch one, and then they became illegal to catch, so we've never targeted them up here fishing for bronzies, and have one in the harbour come and eat a bait. That is just the best. Now you've got to leave your fish in the water. Don't drag them all the way up the beach because they don't deserve it. They're a beautiful fish. So much more stockier than a bronzy. It just puts a bronzy to shame.
When you pull your fish up, you want to leave the gills in the water and don't have all their weight on their bellies. You're just doing them harm. At the end of the day, it's all about catch and release. And I believe if we do it this way, It's the best way to do it.
We're going to have to do some research with Doc after this just to find out. We know Clinton Duffy. We're going to give him a ring, have a chat to him about it, and we'll find out the correct information of what you do when you land these beautiful fish. Wow. Whoa. Come on, little man. Come here. I want to give you a hug. Oh, you're a beautiful creature. Woo. Oh, follow him down the beach, mate.
Oh, I don't let him beach himself.
Come on. Look at his black eyes.
Thank you, Cobber. I'm going to remember this day for a very long time, my man.
Come on, little dude. Come on. We want you to be a 3 or 4 metre jobby. Yeah, I'll walk out with him if you want.
No, you're right, I'll film it.
You walk out with him, bro. Here you go. Woo! Oh,
Thank you,
look
Mum.
at that go! Oh! What a dream! What a dream come true! Mate!
Milan caught a great white shark!
Still see him pumping about,
Holy
mate.
crap!
Oh, that is so cool.
10 years. How long have you been fishing? 15 years. 15 years of pumping insane burley trails, and in the last 13 years we've seen one great white, and then in 2020 till now, February 21, we have seen like 8 different ones.
Look at him go, spinning his way out to sea. That is just insane. As I said, we're going to ring a mate of ours, Clinton Duffy, have a bit of a chat to him. We'll get back to you about exactly what you have to do, but I'm pretty sure if you follow that procedure, you've done the best thing you possibly can for that fish. Fantastic.
Whoa, 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 what did you just do, Marlon? What did you do, man? Holy crap, man. You're crazy, man. You're a crazy man.
Alrighty, for the record, after talking to the Department of Conservation, it is not illegal to accidentally catch a great white shark, provided you do not take that fish out of the water and you release that fish as soon as you possibly can after removing the hook. If you can't remove the hook for any which reason, then just cut the trace as close as you can to the fish. After which you need to report the fact that you landed a great white shark to the Department of Conservation. The Department of Conservation is then going to ask you a bunch of questions. The location where you landed the fish, the fishing method you were using when you accidentally hooked the fish, the date, the condition of the fish when you released it, all those sorts of things. I also need to say that we got it wrong when we said you don't need to report if you just hook the fish and then you get busted off, or it bites you off, or if you don't land the fish. The Department of Conservation want to hear from anybody and everybody that has hooked a great white shark under any circumstances for any length of time. And again, they want to ask you some questions. Answering those questions is helping with the science and conservation around great white sharks, and I think that is a pretty cool thing. Now, having said all of that, great white sharks are a protected species, and it is highly illegal to deliberately target a great white shark, harass them, or hurt those big, stunningly beautiful fish in any way, shape, or form. We went straight home after landing that beautiful white with the plan of coming back a week later to get the bronzies. I had been promising for years and literally years to take one of my very best friends in the world fishing, Graham, so that he could catch his very first legal kingfish.
Ooh, it's a real fish now. God, I love seeing that smile on your face, son.
Usually only one thing to put a smile on my face like that, mate.
I went to school with Graham. We both left school at the same time to be butchers. We worked together in the meatworks, we flattered together, we partied together, you name it, we did it. And now, all these years later, I'm working for Graham 1 or 2 days a week in the very shop where I'd done my butchery apprenticeship when I left school at like 16. Helping Graham helps me pay the bills because fishing isn't quite as financially productive as I would like it to be. And of course, I get to hang out with one of my best mates who doesn't have enough free time to come fishing with the boys. Graham, in a single morning, was lucky enough to go from having never caught illegal kingfish to now being able to say that he's caught 4 of them.
We have a few technical difficulties.
The boys were too excited. All I wanted to do was get Graham a fish.
And then we're trying to get photos and stuff and look down and Milan's line is fully wrapped around the prop. So go the Minn Kota, I say. We're just going to rock in, find some shallow water, bring the motor up, see what the damage is. Hopefully we can just pull this braid off and get back out there because there's a lot of kingies out there and Graham's real excited.
After we got the braid off the prop, I wanted to take Graham and just completely blow his mind by putting him onto a bronze whaler shark and getting his arms stretched and getting a real nice photo of him with a huge shark on the beach, as we have done for so many of our friends and sponsors in the past. And of course, I wanted the content for my video. I wanted multiple different people catching fish, jumping bronze whalers, bites, sharks on the beach, you name it, I wanted it.
I forgot how much fun it was to take your mate shark fishing.
I don't know if I need to be doing this right now, Nate.
But when Graham's fish popped to the surface, it was unmistakably a white shark. The first white shark that Milan caught was just super amazing, completely unexpected. I was just in total awe of the fish. It was just this very rare occurrence. But now, having caught 2 from 2 attempts at trying to catch a bronze whaler shark, I was standing on the beach scratching my head. But at the end of the day, I just wrote it off as some completely freaky coincidence. And Graham had a huge smile on his face and wasn't going to forget that day ever, so it was all good. We again left shark fishing alone for yet another week, with the same plan of coming back to target bronzies to get the footage that I wanted for my video. A mate Luke joined us on the next bronzy mission and we put him on the rod first. But again, a juvenile white shark had taken the bait. Since reporting the capture of Milan's great white shark to the Department of Conservation, we had kept in constant contact with Clinton Duffy. Now, Clinton Duffy is the leading expert on great white sharks here in New Zealand. Clinton had also put us in contact with Marty Bowers. Now, Marty works for Fisheries New Zealand as a senior fisheries analyst for inshore fisheries. Marty said that there has been a very sizable increase in the amount of recreational fishermen targeting sharks. Marty was also pretty concerned over the increase in the amount of recreational fishermen accidentally capturing great white sharks. After talking to Marty, he was really keen to get out on the boat with us and see the way we fish for bronze whaler sharks, because Marty wanted a video to best illustrate good shark fishing practices, and if we were doing it properly, then he could just promote our video. And to be fair, I also wanted Marty on the boat just to make sure that I was doing it in an acceptable manner. And hey, Marty's got a whole bunch of great white shark experience in just shark fishing and fishing in general. Maybe there was something that NATO could learn. So we agreed to take Marty out on the water, well, Marty and his wife, to give trying to catch a bronzy one more shot. And Marty wanted recreational fishermen to understand the rules and regulations around great white sharks and how best to deal with them when landing them, etc. We run a J hook that I've completely filed the barb off and then filed it till it's razor sharp. So we run a short piece of trace, 500 to 600 mil long, and then we tie a rock. We go on the beach, pick up rocks before we go shark fishing, we tie the rock on there. When the shark comes in, we run a small bait. We don't run a real big heavy bait that the shark can grab the end of and rip it off the hook.
run a small bait that the shark's going to come in, inhale the bait, goes in the mouth. Because the rock's there, it can't swallow the bait. You get an instant mouth hook up, and because the rock's there, it sets the hook. The fish bolts straight away once it gets pricked with the hook, and then you just got a tight line to the rock breaks off, and then you're on your fish. I also used to run from there mono trace, and I've had the trace get twisted around the fish and then the mono trace go back through the shark's mouth and got busted off. So now I run a full 5 meter, 800 pound steel trace, and then we run another 4 or 5 meters of 300 pound mono onto that. So yeah, that's the rig. I'm going to show Marty my rig and how it works. Hopefully we get the thumbs up and we get a shark on the beach. And I just like to run it around on the shank of the hook like that, because once that hook sets, if the bait's tied down here and the fish shakes its head, then it could just shake the hook out of it. Whereas if it runs down that way down, then the bait's actually aiding the hook to stay in, and then it'll come off anyway. But just another little trick for you. In my mind, if a big fish has a go at your bait, you're going to hook it, and if a little fish has a go at your bait, you're not going to hook it. Just be okay with losing bait after bait after bait if you have to get your big fish. Just take your time when you're laying your baits. You want everything to lay out straight and lay out flat and not be all twisted up, so you don't get a fish come in and get tangled up in your line straight away. So we just lower the bait as slow and as easy as we can. And I should say this rig works perfectly for land-based situations after copying this rig from a land-based game fishing DVD made by a guy, Paul Embling. Just until the rock's on the bottom. Once the rock's on the bottom, we just leave the lightest drag possible on the reel. The rock is going to set the hook for you, and once that fish gets pricked, it just bolts either which way. Everything's going to stay tight, the hook's set, you don't have to worry about anything, and then it's real easy to get the rod up out of the rod holder.
There he goes.
Just like that.
Yeah, and we dropped him.
No, we got him. We have seriously had a bait in the water for 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to run us to the beach.
Alright. Oh, Marty can drive, can't he?
Yep, he can indeed.
Marty's a good boat driver by the sound of it. Marty has a lifetime of fishing experience. I've just heard stories about bringing harp hookers up, putting them in live tanks and taking them into, was it Kelly Tarleton's? Once you hook them up, generally you'll get a big burst of energy on that first run, maybe 2 runs. But after that, sharks are not as hard fighting as some other fish in the ocean that are green and yellow.
Please be a bronzy.
That'd be good.
Yep.
Cool shot. Time to get out of the boat!
Right, mate. Calm down, calm down, calm down.
Calm down. Calm down. You're good. Whenever you're doing this, I think the best thing to do, hand on the fish, don't try and kind of reach around it, hand on the fish, that way when you're going down, if the fish rears up, you come up with it. Just over the front of its nose, just lifting up, and that's perfectly what we've designed that rig for. That, again, it's Paul Embling's rig that I copied. And then from there, because there's no barb on the hook, it literally just falls out. You don't have to have his head out of the water. You want to keep the gills in the water. Like I say, as soon as the belly hits the bottom, bronzies and all the sharks that we've caught just completely immobilize and just sit there for you. Let you get your hook out. We're often taking heaps of other people's hooks out of their faces. They come in with jigs and lures and you wouldn't believe the amount of jewellery that they can pick up. So we often are pulling heaps of them out, but all the white sharks that we've seen, none of the white sharks are carrying anything else other than our hook, which has been really cool to see. So yeah, we'll get a couple of photos and it'll be on its way. All right, leading them goes the real easy part, and in my opinion, the best part. So just stay down the tail end. They do like to sort of say hello before they go sometimes. And then just because you haven't taken him out of the water too much, he should just slide off, and then as soon as he's floating, then generally they'll start to kick. And just hold on to their tail, because they often kind of get a little bit disorientated and start coming back into the beach, so you just got to guide them a little bit. Come on, mate. And then once he's pointed in the right direction, let him rip. Come on, Cobber. And that's shark fishing, NATO and Milan styles.
Now, in my mind, we could no longer fish for a bronze whaler shark inside the harbour by repeating the exact same process that had led to the capture of 4 great white sharks from 4 attempts at trying to catch a bronzy. Because if we did, I would be prepared to make a very sizable bet that we would catch a great white shark, and targeting great white sharks is illegal. Even though we weren't targeting great white sharks, so to speak, I felt like we would be targeting great white sharks. We'd been kingy fishing only a few months before in a burley trail, and we had a bronzy right up at the back of the boat, and a big one. It was even trying to eat one of Milan's stick baits. So the next plan to try and get the bronzy footage that I want was to head up into the shallows, pump an insane burley trail, and see if we couldn't get a bronzy behind the back of the boat, or a white. Use the drone to identify the fish. If it was a white, hey, I'll just film it. If it's a bronzy, we'll stick a bait in the water and try and catch it. But yet again, you guessed it, the first thing to come up the burley trail was a juvenile great white shark, and it just hung around the boat happily. I put the drone up and I was filming it with the drone, and I reckon I could have just kept filming that fish with the drone until I run out of batteries. It wasn't going anywhere. Well, we absolutely suck at bronzy fishing, and we used to be experts, but man, are we good at seeing great white sharks. I've just had the drone up for the last half an hour, and we've filmed a little great white cruising around the boat, and now we've got a real big one. Well, real big one, like 3.5 meters, as big if you ask me. I'm a little bit excited. He's just swimming out here, got the drone. Milan's trying to tease him in with bits of meat. It's real good fun just to see them. So, yeah, stay tuned. Great whites everywhere.
Oh, dude. Oh, that is so cool. Looks like the big one to me. Whoa. Oh, that is so cool.
Yes.
It's pretty cool when you can say that's a little one.
Yeah.
Rope him in, boy. Here comes the other one. Well, that's it. That's our day. I've had about as much shark, great white shark, interaction as I could possibly want or ever imagine or dream of. I can't get over the amount of white sharks in the harbour at the moment, to the point where we can't catch a bronzy. It is just nuts. But in my mind, if there's that many great whites in here, then we're looking at a really, really healthy harbour, and to have that harbour right on our back doorstep is some kind of blessing in my mind. So it is not a bad thing. What an absolutely stunning fish, to have them right beside the boat and just absolutely no fear of us. I think they were more scared of the camera, the GoPro, than anything else. They kept turning off the GoPro. But when that second great white came in, then they both were just happy as to pick up all the meat that was on the bottom, grab a hold of the tail and the frame of the kingfish that was on the rope, and bashing around right beside the boat. It was just epic. And yeah, that is it. Great white sharks. NATO and Milan out. How absolutely nuts is that? I am still in shock and amazement and awe at those beautiful fish. To have that big great white shark swimming around the boat. Well, I know it's not big in great white terms, but when it's right beside the boat, it is huge. How does that harbour go from... We haven't shark fished for the last 3 or 4 years, but in the 10 years previous to that, we maybe done 10 or 15 days shark fishing in that harbour each year, and we never even seen a great white shark, and we caught bronzies. We could have caught bronzies one after the other.
And now I'm sitting here saying that you can't go shark fishing in that harbour because you're going to catch a white shark. To have white sharks in the harbour, white sharks being apex predators, in my mind, everything below them on the food chain is as it should be, so it is perfect. That harbour is in stunning health. I just want to add that great white sharks are not the only thing swimming around in our waters that are protected. And if you want to find out about any other protected species or any information on great white sharks, you can visit the DOC website or jump on the MPI website as well. It's all laid out for you. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again real soon.
The Lateral Line is proudly partnered with Vertex Lubricants.